and offered me serious money. They're giving me 137 bucks. And number two, they said, we'll put you in an environment that's so comfortable for you, you'll know absolutely everything there is to know about it, that you won't have any trouble at all. So here we are at Wrigley Field. I'm going to explain baseball to you. We'll talk to some people who really know about the game, and we'll take you some places you've never really seen at Wrigley Field, inside that antiquated score box. And we'll talk to the kids outside on Wayland Avenue that shag the balls. Why do they do that? And we'll talk to people that really know about the game of baseball, that play it and broadcast it. And then, of course, I'll tell you everything I know about baseball. So stay with us.
Bob Collins Explains Baseball with your host Robert L., as in lovable Collins, is being brought to you in part.
I know some of you are probably asking yourselves, what is this fool doing walking around outside a hospital? Some of you smart alecks may be even suggesting that I should check into maybe the rubber room, the funny ward. No, no, no. See, if you're going to explain something from the beginning, what you really ought to do is get as close to the beginning as possible. And that's what we're doing here. Let me explain it to you. Back in 1870, the Chicago baseball team decided it would become a big-time professional organization. You see, instead of passing the hat after each game, they'd collect the money before the game. They played the park down by the lake, which went the way of most of the town. October 9th, 1871. You remember the big Chicago fire, don't you? The name of the team that started it all was, of all things, the White Stockings. Back in 1871, the White Stockings joined the National Association, which then became the National League in 1876. That, by the way, was the same year Custer met the Indians, who didn't play ball. Now, over the next several years, the White Stockings played in parks near 23rd and State, Randolph and Michigan, right downtown for the businessman with the sick grandma or whatever. It was very convenient. Then, in 1893, the White Stockings moved here to Westside Park, as it was called then. Hope, Taylor, and Wood are the best boundaries we can find today. These buildings are the University of Illinois College of Medicine, but back 1893 to 1916, we think this was about the pitcher's mound. Excuse me, young lady, you're standing on the pitcher's mound.
Sorry about that.
This is Pat Ward. Pat is a historian for the University of Illinois College of Medicine. Is that right this time?
No, that's wrong. This is the University of Illinois at Chicago Health Sciences Center.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. The best we can tell, now again, this is a long time ago, but we think this was roughly the pitcher's mound. Can you see Sutcliffe up here today? Back there was home plate. Now, the interesting thing is, some of the terms, the baseball terms we use today, we're familiar with, actually originated right here. Now, Pat has talked to several people about these terms, right?
Yes, Red Barber is one of them.
Okay. The term southpaw, now most of us know that as a left-handed pitcher. What's the historical significance of that?
Well, Mr. Dooley, Friendly Peter Dunn, said it started in this field
Come back here in the light a little bit.
Because, he said, a left-handed pitcher throwing roughly from this area toward a home plate at Walcott and Polk would be throwing from the south.
So his arm would come over here from the south?
Right.
Like that?
Right.
Okay, there's another term. You say somebody's out in left field, they're kind of silly, they're kind of crazy, kind of nutty. What does that mean? That started here also.
It's supposed to have started because our psychiatric ward opened in 1932 back in the old hospital in that corner.
Yeah, and that was left field.
Stood where left field was. And so anything coming from that direction's a little bit bizarre, unusual, abnormal, perhaps.
See all these things you knew about history, you guys, and you never even knew you knew it. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyway, it was here that Chicago baseball fans cheered for the White Stockings, which then became the Colts and finally the Cubs. Now, those same fans cried in 1906 when those hitless wonders from the South Side, the despised White Sox, won the only Subway Series we ever had. They won it in 6 games. Cheers were back in 1907 and 1908 when the Cubs won it all. The World Series, back-to-back against the Detroit Tigers. Somehow that was kind of prophetic. But after 1910, you see, the Cubs lost the series to the Athletics, and things just went, well, you know where they went. People stayed away in droves. Now, in 1914, a third baseball league was formed called the Federal League. As a guy in Chicago had a whole chain of lunch counters, he was very successful at that, but he decided he wanted to be a big-time baseball mogul, so he set up the Chicago Feds. That was Charlie Wiegman. He built his baseball park on some property out at Clark and Addison. It was out in Lakeside. That was a nice former suburb and right near the L. Early in March of 1914, they started the construction, then they opened the season the 23rd of April, just 5 weeks later, in what has become one of the very best places in the world to watch a baseball game. Now, as you all know, the Federal League went belly up in 1916, kind of the way the new football leagues are doing today. But before Charlie Weekman would fold his team, now called the Whales, are you writing all this down? He made a deal to take over the National League team in Chicago, and then the Cubs moved here to what's been their home for almost 70 years now. Weekman turned the Cubs over to a silent partner who was a gum salesman. The park was renamed Wrigley Field, and of course, here we are, wondering just how long this can all last. How long will this beautiful old field, where you can actually see the faces of the ball players, last in a time that demands bigger crowds and games under the lights and all that high-tech stuff? Really, what do you do with a place that's just a good place to watch a ball game?
Well, historically, you just tear it down. For example, Ebbets Field in Brooklyn was torn down. It's now apartments. Same thing happened to the Polo Grounds in the Bronx.
Yeah?
Sportsman Park in St. Louis, they tore it down. It's now a boys' club. Shives Park in Philadelphia, they tore it down. It's now an empty lot.
So basically, there's a long history of these things becoming real estate or whatever.
I don't think anyone's ever given a second thought to trying to convert it, to keep it up and preserve it in some fashion.
This is Mike Miner, who is, in fact, one of the writers for the Reader. I've wanted to say that all day long. Actually, Mike is an associate editor of the Chicago Reader. Yeah. Okay, Mike, thank you.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it, sir. Mike Miner. You know, I didn't come to Chicago until 1974, and I had known that way back when sometime they played football here, but I didn't know how recently. This young guy, you all know Mike Pyle, one of the great centers for the Chicago Bears. How are you, pal?
I'm fine, Bob. How you doing?
Good seeing you. Mike played his entire career with the Bears right here in Wrigley Field from when, 60, 61?
1961 through 69.
Now, I had no idea the Bears were here that late. I thought this was way back in the 30s or 40s. When did they move to Soldier Field?
The Bears went to Soldier Field in 1971 when the league said, you can't play in a field this small. You need more seats. And I think we sat up to about 44,000 for football games in Wrigley Field, and they needed a bigger stadium, moved in 71.
Now, for baseball, this field, of course, seats 34,000, something like that. How did you get 44,000 people in here to watch a football game? They must have been sitting on the field.
Well, George Hallis paid for the famous East Stand that we had in those days. For football, it went north and south, Bob, with the north end goalpost right up there next to the wall. Yeah. The Chicago Bears bench was right in the left field corner. Then it went over and came down just outside of the first, second base line with the East Stands out there in right field. And the goal line went right to the corner of the visiting dugout here and then back into this corner. So you were playing right into the stands almost all the time in the end zone. This was the greatest place to play a football game for a player, I think, in the country, and for a fan as well, because everybody was close to the field. The upper deck fans were right on top of the field. And for us players, we literally were right next to our fans. We had them yelling right in our ear, which was terrific.
Depending on what they were yelling. The question is, though, when you were going for a ball or something, you're off balance, you're running, didn't you run into the fans every now and then?
Well, there's some great stories about that going over the years. Now, of course, you say you used to play football here. We went till 71. The first game with the Bears was played in 1921 in Wrigley Field.
So it played here 50 years.
Played here a long, long time. But there's the classic story, of course, right over here in the south end zone where Bronco Nagurski scored a touchdown. Yeah. And the end zone went right up to the brick wall of Wrigley Field.
So if you're running full charge, carrying the football, you're going to run into something.
Yeah, and Bronco playing with what I'll call Butkus Ditka intensity, although you could reverse that order, of course, because Bronco started it. Yeah. But he went right through the end zone and ran his helmet right into the brick wall here at Wrigley Field. Oh. Now, of course, the great story is he came back to the huddle and said, boy, that line was nothing, but boy, was the secondary tough.
Tell me the story about the guy going into the tuba.
Oh, well, that's just great, because another part of the Wrigley Field...
You like that one, huh? Bill likes that one.
Yeah, another part of the whole Wrigley Field deal in playing a football game is the way Coach Hallis would do it. And for all those years, he had Arm in Hand's American Legion Band. Now, Arm in Hand's still in business. We're in 1985. He's still playing with the same guys. But for years, for a while, they were in the stands because Hallis couldn't sell the stands out. But once he was able to sell them out, put them on the field at that northeast end. Well, they were right on the sideline. And there must have been, in my career of 9 years, must have been 10 times that one of the greatest safeties that ever played the game, Rosie Taylor, went right into that tuba.
Just right into it?
Head first into the tuba. You know, he just would mow down that American Legion band, arm in hand, get all his instruments together, order a couple of new trombones, and go back to playing again.
You get combat pay for playing in the band here. That's football with Mike Pyle at Wrigley Field. Most of you know they used to play football at Wrigley Field, but you may not know they used to have boxing matches at Wrigley Field, along with other things. One of the guys that was at most of the matches, and as a matter of fact, one of the 3 guys left in the country that still likes the obscene sport of boxing is Ben Bentley. I'd like to get you friendly right off the start.
You did. You ignited.
Yeah, we're in the WGN radio studios because Benny's getting ready to go on with the Sports Writer show following the game. But tell me about boxing in Wrigley Field. How'd that work out?
Boxing, Bob, worked out very, very nicely in Wrigley Field. And I remember very vividly and very clear the Jake LaMotta fight, when Jake LaMotta fought a great Chicago favorite, Bob Satterfield, a devastating puncher. The ring, Bob, was located right over second base, and of course above the ring they installed the ring light.
Well, now that was the question. They did have lights for that.
Yes, they did. There was no other way you could put on a boxing show.
Were these at night or in the daytime?
No, these were at night. At night.
And why did they stop? Why did they cut it out?
Well, after a while, boxing became a television animal. And as a result, all the fights were then indoors, and the promoters didn't have to worry about rain, and the sponsors didn't want to go outdoors.
Yeah, good point. All right, why don't you get ready to fake your way through another Sports Writer show. Thank you, pal.
Thanks, Bob.
All right. We'll take a look at the next best seat, not in the ballpark, and other wonders right after this.
To you again, and watch the youngster catch this ball on the other side of the fence. Look at that. All right, put it away, young man. It's all yours.
Some of the great fielding plays are things you never see when you're sitting in the ballpark. This young fella is a guy by the name of Gary Mullins, better known as Mo. Hi, Mo.
How you doing, Bob?
All right, man. How are you? For some strange reason, I don't really understand this. Mo works for Flying Tigers Airlines at night, and every day that the Cubs are at home, he's out here on Waveland Avenue shagging balls. Why do you do that, you reckon?
That's my last grasp of my youth.
Your last touch with sanity, or what?
It could be. I don't know. I got hooked on it when I lived in the neighborhood.
Oh, standing out here on Waveland Avenue looking at the ballpark, you can't see anything. There's a brick wall and a chain-link fence above. How do you know where and when the balls are coming?
Well, you got a certain sound for the crack of the bat when there's a good ball really hit, when it's tagged well. And you use the background of your upper deck up there, and you pick up the ball.
How many guys are out here catching?
There's about 9 or 10 of us regularly that come out here.
One of you normally get the ball when it comes out?
I'd say the passerbys are very fortunate if they get one.
Is that? How many years you been out here, Mo?
This is my 26th.
26 years of standing out here on Waveland Avenue doing this. How many balls in those 26 years?
Over 1,300.
What do you do with them?
Well, when I was young, I sold them for hamburger money, you know.
What about me? I could use one too, Mo.
I'll catch one, give it to you.
All right, man. Mo on Waveland Avenue with the 9 or 10 guys that are out here shagging balls. If you're a baseball fan, or as a matter of fact, any kind of sports fan, you're familiar with a high-tech scoreboard. You know, the ones on the cutting edge of technology with the exploding cannons and the fireworks, the little animated cartoon figures, all that. Not so here at Wrigley Field. This is what you call your basic old dinosaur. This is back to the basics of scorekeeping. You just hang the numbers up. Let's go upstairs and see how it all works. Oh, good jump. That's one of the greatest places in the world to watch the ball game. I mean, the view is spectacular. The only problem is climbing these Alps to get to the scoreboard. You sure Wally started like this? You know, it's one thing for the scoreboard not to be high-tech. I mean, who cares? You just want to know the score of the game. But I tell you what, you can't have any old fat guys up here running the scoreboard because it's a real chore getting up here, man. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm not real sure I wanted to see the inside of this thing. Oh, you're kidding me. More steps? Good. Well, at least it's filthy dirty. Oh, boy. Hey, Art.
How you doing?
All right, kid, how you? I feel like I'm trapped in the center of the Phantom of the Opera. This is Art. How long you been up here doing this?
Oh, about 12 or 14 years, I couldn't say which. Time goes by pretty fast, you know, so.
Hey, Art, I've heard a rumor that you guys can't have binoculars up here because they're afraid somebody will steal signals or something like that. Any truth to that?
Well, it's been a lot of questions asked about it here, but we're allowed to have binoculars just once we keep a pair up here anyway, just to see, put a relief picture in, get his number. What started all that was Hank Sauer. He came up there, accused us of that, and he tried to get it, but they wouldn't let him in during the game. You know? He was up there pounding on the board. You know?
Yeah. How do you know what the score is? Do they call you to change the score, or do you just watch the action or listen and do it yourself?
Well, Roger and Sam Bongiorno downstairs, Sam takes care of the Cub game. Roger puts in a hit. And they each got 2 games one in the American League and one in the National League.
Yeah.
And they have to watch the game to put in the line score. If they make a mistake, I'll get a call from the press box.
I know you got to go to work, pal. We're getting close to game time. Thanks, Art. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Stop up again.
I'll do her. Everybody has their favorite place to watch the ball game. Some people like to sit behind home plate, of course, some behind the dugout, some of the bleachers. Some people don't even like to be in the ballpark. If you look around you, you'll notice a lot of people up on the roofs around Wrigley Field. Just one of them. We'll sneak back here. The way you get in is you have to go through this gate, you see. And then you have to go way around back, and you have to climb a bunch of stairs. So let's get upstairs and see what the party's like there. Oh, Lord have mercy. Terry.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Oh,
nice
man.
to see you.
Where's the oxygen supplier, the Sherpa guide?
I tell
Lord,
you,
that's a climb.
it's a long walk, right?
I tell you, but this is great up here. This is Terry Fuel, and this is where the party is. I mean, if you want to watch a ball game and have home cooking, look at this, look at this. I wonder what the poor folks are doing. Terry, as I say, owns this building. I'm not sure that it's too cheap to buy a ticket to the ball game once you step there. But you talk about a view. I want y'all to look at this. Terry, this is impressive.
Come on, Rhino!
Yeah, we think we've got the best view in town, right here.
I'll tell you, last year we were in San Diego at Jack Murphy Stadium. The seat you have here on your building is closer than our seat in that ballpark, and I'm not kidding a bit.
I've been told that.
Yeah, it's just, you can see everything here. This is great. This spot's got to be one of the greatest places in the world to watch a ball game. And as I said, you're home. You got all the conveniences here.
Pretty much. Would you like to take a look at some of the...
I'd like to take a look at some of the food.
Okay.
All right, let's do that. Yeah. Mess around. Let's get back to the chef. Look at that. She's even making cheeseburgers. Is any of this stuff edible yet?
You ready?
You can tell I'm fading away. I need a fast food fix here. Look at this.
Strength in pounds.
That's right. You never saw a skinny baby.
Something happened.
That's right.
What a deal. Rhino hit a double. All right, enough of that. Rhino got a double, but what about the food? Now, this looks pretty good.
Okay, what would you like on there? There's tomatoes, onions.
Well, big onion, that'd be good. Big onion, yeah.
Big onion.
Can I just help myself? Okay, good. Well, you guys get back and watch the ball game. I'm just going to put this mic back in my pocket and trash up. You think I won't eat it, don't you? Man, this is the way to watch a ball game. I mean, all of this is top shelf. You know, Wrigley Field is the only ballpark in the U.S. of A. with rooftop fans. As a matter of fact, the only place with great seats without a ticket. And, of course, it's a Chicago tradition. I mean, look here at this picture of the old West Side Park. You see the bleachers and the rooftops? Actually, there are more seats there than there are in today's bleachers. Well, thanks to Terry Fuel and his guests for their hospitality, and we'll be right back with the #1 Cubs fan and the Bud Man right after this. At every baseball game, at the middle of the 7th inning, there's a thing known as the 7th inning stretch. It's universal. However, there is one uniquely disgusting ritual here at Wrigley Field. Terry can't sing to save his life, but it is a tradition, and as we all know, Baseball is a game of traditions. One of the great traditions is standing right here. Harry Carey.
Hey, you're still working for Gillette, I see.
Yeah, right. I see you're still working for, what is that stuff? I want to talk about that in a minute.
How are you, Bob?
I'm fine, Harry. How you doing?
Good to see you out here at the ballpark. I take your name in vain many times. And I'm
going to get you for that, too.
When we preempt you, I figure you're out in the center field bleachers, you know.
I want to ask you about, we were just out there. I've never sat out in the bleachers. Man, what a crowd out there. You talk about baseball fans. When you're sitting out there in the bleachers, how do you call the game? You're so far away from the real action, you got no real good line on home plate. How do you figure out what's going on?
That's not right at all, because this ballpark is so small, and from center field, for example, you get a better view of the pitches than we do from our television booth, because you're right in line with the pitcher. And, of course, we have the monitor there. It's just the same as being in the booth, only you have much more convivial company. A lot of guys and gals enjoying themselves.
How long have you been doing baseball games?
How old are you?
Longer than that.
41 years. This is my 41st year doing Major League Baseball, right?
You've one of the few guys that have done games in every ballpark, right?
Yeah, I don't think I've missed one yet. All of them in the American League, all of them in the National League.
We're standing right here in front of the Cubs dugout. Dugout.
Right.
Hello. At Wrigley Field, so this may not be a real objective question for you, but what's your favorite ballpark?
Oh, of course, Wrigley Field is number one. As a matter of fact, two of my favorite ballparks right here in Chicago, Wrigley Field and Comiskey Park, both old ballparks which have charm. The Fenway Park in Boston is another one like that, and Tiger Stadium in Detroit. Now, those are my four favorite ballparks.
What's the worst part?
Oh, I think without a question, the Dome Stadium in Seattle and the Dome Stadium in Houston.
Just because of the dome?
Yeah, I think it's a depressing place for a baseball game. It takes the life out of it. It's just not baseball.
Just one more thing, Marty, if you could widen out just a little bit. I wonder if you could do the dance for us. I'm a bud man.
Oh, I'm a bud man. And I'm a cock man.
And just one more thing. I want the phone number of the blonde on your left.
Boy, I tell you, boy, you should ask for both phone numbers. They were very, very beautiful and talented young ladies. Yeah. You know how long I had to be there at sunrise time, which was like 5:30 in the morning one day.
You probably didn't even go home, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We opened up with a sunrise shot, and, you know, there's no faking these things. And so I had to be at 5:30. We worked until 6:30 that night. The second day, I started at 6:30, worked until 7:30 at night. All this for a 30-second commercial.
And millions of dollars. Come on, I'll buy you one.
All right. It's about time.
You know, every day here at Wrigley Field, about 20,000 fans watch the ball game, but also every day about 2 million people watch it on the television. And believe me, it isn't as easy as you may think. All takes place under the left field stands in the WGN remote television truck.
Give me a picture, Ted. One. Stay with him, Jack. 5. 1. 5. Stay with him, Marv. 6. Yeah. Leon's hurt. Five.
Looks like it might be a hamstring the way he came around second base. That's usually the case.
Let's see A and B.
This is Arnie Harris, WGN television sports producer and director, where he is for all of the Cubs home games, directing his crew of 7 cameras, audio operator, video switcher, videotape slow-mo operators, video control, character generator operator, and, of course, assistant director Joe Corneo, who's in the booth.
Roll the fat, George. Give me, I got plenty of time.
Breaking for second, right through the shortstop position.
Right there. Freeze. Here he is isolated, Harry. Take B. We'll watch him run all the way. Looks like his back or something, maybe.
Hopefully it's just a cramp, Harry. Yeah. Sometimes that'll happen. The muscle will cramp up and then it'll let go. Stevie. Now watch. Right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's walking around.
Yeah. Ready for. Wait for. Good, Bobby.
How do you ever do this without getting an ulcer or a heart attack, man?
I think we like it. I think I enjoy it. I enjoy every day. I enjoy coming out to the ballpark. I enjoy watching baseball. And I really honestly feel it's the most difficult sport to put on television and make it look right.
Why are you and your team so good, Arnie?
Well, first of all, I've got a great team. I mean, all the guys in the GM crew are the best guys in the country. And I'm lucky the guys in the road are dynamite guys to work with. And of course, we do so much baseball.
How long have you been doing this?
20 years.
Arnie, you seem to be pretty consistently second-guessing the game. You got 7 cameras out there. Do they each have an assigned territory, or do you tell them what to do?
Well, it's kind of both, Bob. Each guy knows what he's going to do before every pitch. We talk about what to do after each pitch. Just to go over real fast, camera 1, Bruce is on camera 1 today. He's the coverage camera. His job is to follow the ball. No matter where it goes, he always has the ball in the
So you can always count on him.
Right. No matter what camera I'm on, if I want the ball, I can go to Bruce. He's got it.
Right.
Camera 2 on any particular play could have the right field corner, could have a runner, could have the hitter, could have the pitcher. Camera 3 is our high first base camera, and he's almost another play-by-play cameraman. He handles the ball in action. He handles runners. He handles crowd shots, handles people in the dugout. He is really the second guy as far as play-by-play coverage is concerned. 5 is low third camera. He can have at any time a runner, first baseman, a batter, a pitcher, depending what the play is. The same with 6, which is the low first base camera. Camera 7 is our new high left field camera, and he probably is isolated more on third baseman, batter. So you get line drives and ground balls on the third baseline. Camera 4 is our center field camera, obviously the pitcher-batter shot, which I think is the best in baseball here at Wrigley Field. And he also is, his job is to also follow the ball as a second isolation camera. So no matter where the ball is, once the ball is hit, camera 4 should have it too.
All right, now that Arnie set the scene, let's watch the WGN baseball crew in action. And hold on to your seats. Don't take your eyes off the screen.
Very shallow in all fields.
I use it work. You got second still, Stevie. You got the guy first, man. You stay with him all the way, no matter where he's going. He's your guy, all right? All the way to Skokie. Give me a hitter, Jack. All right, guys, they're going to be running like hell. 5, so everybody stay with your guys. Out, 4. All right, stay with your guys. 4. Guide third, Jack.
There they go.
1. 5. 1, 2, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 3, 1, 3. Anyway, all right, give me some crowd, Brucey. 1. Holy smoke. Stay with him, Joe. 3. Let's see that, Bernie. I think that's the Midas. That took over the bunt. White Bay. Here it is, Steve, Harry.
A 3-2 fastball, and Larry Ball pulls it. Crosses up the defense. It goes down to the right field corner. A triple. Ron Fay scoring easily from first. And Larry Ball with 9 RBIs all year. And 30.
Nice coverage, guys.
You all right, Arnie?
That's fun. That's what makes it fun.
Good Lord.
That is what television is all about.
I know you long enough and well enough I can ask you. Do you ever get totally screwed up and have no idea where you are?
I don't totally get screwed up, but Jimmy Paz was my switcher. He probably saves me a lot. But I think, you know, we've done it so much, Bob. It's hard to really get screwed up as long as you talk about each play before the play happens. And you were here for the bases loaded triple. We set that up. We knew every guy knew what his job was before the ball was hit, and it worked out fine.
Still got to be an ulcer factory. There are 8 people in here and 7 out on the field, and probably more that I don't know about, all jumping.
Well, but as they say, both mics are hot. Go ahead, Stevie. It's fun to do, and it's great to know, Bob, when you're working, people are watching. Our ratings are great, and it's fun to work when you know whatever you're doing, people are watching.
Arnie Harris, the best there is.
Bob, stay there, Stevie.
And we'll be right back with 4 more guys who really are the best.
And Alabama.
You stand next to them because they're too big for me.
Yeah, what, no,
I mean, look at it. No,
you
here.
put me up there in the middle, how am I going to get in trouble? No,
Wait, over here.
I'll be in the shade the whole time.
Yeah, good idea. Keep him in the shade. You know,
I'm in the shade the whole time.
And he's got a bat in his hand.
Yeah.
I told you I was going to explain to y'all how to play baseball. Unfortunately, my knowledge is a little shallow in that particular area, but these guys here should know something about it. Y'all know Jody, don't you, and Keith and Rick. These guys make their living playing baseball, and I thought maybe we get some real hands-on expertise. It doesn't appear to be a real tough thing to do, with all fairness to you guys. I mean, you're wonderfully conditioned athletes, and thank God everybody's healthy now. You feeling all right?
Oh, yeah. I feel real good.
Yeah, don't...
He's got a bat in his hand. That's what he's always got. He's talking about one story about baseball that you always got to know, that every pitcher that's playing in the National League thinks he's the best hitter in the game.
Yeah, of course.
And every player that's not a pitcher thinks he can pitch in the game.
Well,
so we all want to be pitchers if we're not pitchers, and all hitters.
Well, I'll admit one thing. There's times that Jody's throwing the ball back harder than I'm throwing it in. I'll admit that, okay?
Yeah.
But there's also been times I've hit the ball better than he has.
I don't think I want to get between you all with this kind of fight. Let me ask you something. What is it that's so tough about what you do? It looks to be a pretty straightforward thing. I mean, it's 60 feet and what, 6 inches from the mound to the plate. And you just got to throw a little old round baseball down there.
That's it.
What's the big deal?
Sut throws his about 59 most of the time. It is 60 feet 6 inches, and I'd like to get a few of them in the air.
You know, just developing that sinker is what you're doing.
The toughest part of the game, seriously, is just keeping it in the ballpark.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. That's it. You see these arms right here?
Yeah.
They tend to do things with that baseball when you don't put it where you're supposed to.
Well, that's the question, though. How do you put it precisely? And you, almost better than anybody else in the world, can put it precisely. What, does he tell you where to put it?
Not that I can, but that I have to. I said last year when I got over here, I didn't know anything about the National League.
Yeah.
And the secret for me to learning the National League was if Jody put down a curveball, I threw a fastball. And because of that, I had a lot of, I threw the opposite of what he put down.
You know, we almost won the National League East last year, and when the season was over, Bob, Sut had to go in the hospital. Yeah. He had to put a cast on his neck to shake it off so bad.
That's true.
All right, so how do you do it? Now, seriously, what do you play each guy individually? Do you pitch the same way no matter who's at the bat, or do you pitch each guy differently?
If he wasn't here, I could tell you the truth. But being we are live and what have you, basically I go with him.
So you decide what the pitch is going to be. Give him a signal. How do you decide what the pitch is going to be?
I just make it up as we go, Bob. That's why, I know when he's pitching and whatever I put down, he's not going to throw. So I try to trick him, you know, so I'm going to call a curveball knowing he's going to throw a fastball.
Well, he knows what he can't hit, so he figures the other guy might not be able to.
Do you have to prepare when you, first of all, I don't understand how the heck you can kneel down there in that position and get up and even walk.
Well, it's, you get used to it. That's what they have spring training for. And,
well, that's...
You know,
but worse than the 15th make it a lot easier.
Oh, wait, here's all the equipment. What is all this stuff?
That's what we need.
This is what you wear, right?
Now, Bob, you need to put this on.
All right.
Well, I don't know anything about this, man.
Well, look, let's help you get this stuff on here.
Uh-huh.
Show him where you got to put the shin guards on first.
Got to put the shin guards on.
With the hooks to the outside.
The hooks to the outside?
I was going to let him learn that lesson.
Oh, what do you mean? You get caught if you don't do it that way?
You hook the buckles on the inside. See if you put this one over there, see the hooks on the inside.
So you catch yourself and trip yourself. All right. Boy, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're having fun now.
Uh-huh. I'm not ticklish, Jody, but don't press your luck, all right?
Come on, Uncle Bobby.
Hey, Keith, you guys make a living doing this.
Bob, if they get him too tight, you start talking like that.
Yeah, I understand that. All right, now you got these things on.
See, those things are protecting the guy who does that to you,
Good, thanks, Keith. I appreciate it. Is that all you wear over your chest?
That's it.
That isn't much protection, man, if a guy hits you right in the chest, is it?
No.
Okay.
Makes you look good, though.
You got plenty of protection.
Hey. A lot of hate in this world.
I don't know if we can get this thing buckled or not here.
Do you have the full figured size?
Still haven't figured out what they meant when they called them tools and fingers.
Tools?
Yeah.
Come on, Keith.
Come on, right there, Bob.
You can do it.
I can't breathe. One more time. Here we go.
Oh,
got it?
boy.
That's it. It's locked on.
Boy, we having fun.
Like you said, Bob, it's simple. If you want to step right down here, we'll show you how easy it is.
You got to pitch to me or what?
Hitter
Come on, Bob. Okay. Oh, you're going to be a hitter. All right, I got all this stuff. Will you put this over here like so?
Instructions.
I don't know if you can get it on there.
I don't know if I can either. All right.
Oh, wait a minute now. Jody, I believe there's one more tool of ignorance you forgot to tell him about.
Oh, well, he'll learn.
You could be talking soprano very soon because you also...
Oh, I am not wearing the official National League protector. That's right.
Protective steel cup.
Hey, Rick,
you have to get down, okay?
Bob, you put right up here.
Yeah?
Right up out here.
You just try to get out and give a good low target there so I can try to keep the ball apart.
This at all.
First thing you got to do is give me a sign. This is fastball, and that's curveball.
What's the slowest sign for the slowest pitch?
Change up.
Now, if you don't like the guy, you give me the thumb, okay?
I mean, you got to knock me down.
That means don't worry about catching it, because he's going to catch it in the middle of his bat.
No, don't do that to Keith. We need him today.
Are you ready?
Softly. You ready?
Okay.
Oh, this isn't going to be fun. There's all of this stuff.
That's what they've been telling me for about 3 or 4 weeks now.
You just forgot one thing.
What's that?
The ball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that helps, okay?
I want to do. Jody, help me. Keep my eye on it or what?
Yeah, well, some throws pretty hard. You got to be ready, you know.
Oh.
Almost.
Hey, he does it. I
think what you need here is to keep the swing, you know.
I'm not cut out for this. This is not my thing. I can hit that ball, though, son.
Oh, let me show you, and we'll show you how to hit
I can hit that ball. This is trash, all this stuff.
Wait a minute, I'm having tough enough a year. I don't need you hitting a line drive off of me, okay?
Wouldn't that be a hell of a note?
That's all I need, yeah.
Oh, I'm trying not to breathe, Jody, so you can get this thing off. Oh.
Bob, what do you feel like when you get through catching? What do you think now to tell, you know?
I would be scared to death if that man ever threw me a fastball, seriously. Hey, Jody, does that stay?
How'd you like to stay in that
That's why I
position?
call curves.
I can't imagine why you can't, I can't imagine, seriously, how you can stand up.
That's, you just
Bob,
get used to it.
Seriously, though, I want your opinion now. What do you think it would feel like to do that for about 3 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes, and then get up and try to walk inside?
I can't imagine. And you know what I can't
And then
understand?
drive home on the Kennedy.
Yeah. I can't imagine, but you know what? You do that all day long, and you get, howdy, how you doing, sir? You get up and you go about, I mean, you're going to play the game. Is that just conditioning?
It's just, you get used to it, and, you know, I come out here, I love to play, and, you know, I don't...
Honestly speaking, there's nothing else in the world he could do.
We're all in that situation, man.
I don't know about that. I've been back there myself.
Yeah, that's right.
What Jody's trying to say is that once you get used to it, it really doesn't bother you. And there's absolutely, as a baseball player, there's not a place on the field that you have more control of what happens in the game and more fun than there is catching. And I think catching is, you know, sure you're going to have your aches and pains, and it's not something that's a longevity, or that you're doing it for longevity, or you're doing it to pile great statistics like Rose or anybody like that because you just get beat up on too bad to do that.
Yeah, right.
But as far as time on the ball field, catching is probably the greatest
Well, you do that sometimes. Now, I don't understand. You play outfield, you play first base, you play third base.
Not very well, but I play them, you know.
Is it the same? I mean, do you have to change your way of thinking? I mean, would you play first base the same as you play third base?
Well, no, I think when you're playing defense, you're just trying to, I personally am just trying to catch the ball and get people out. I think what I have fun at is hitting. So as long as I'm in the lineup hitting, I don't care where I'm playing.
Is that a left-handed bat? I need a left-handed bat.
You need a left-handed bat. You hit left-handed?
Yes,
well, I don't think I can teach you then. I think it's going to have to be Sutcliffe may have to teach you.
We had a left-handed bat. We need that. Now tell me what I got to do.
Well, since you're left-handed, I'm going to show you from a right-handed perspective, and you'll have to take it. The first thing I would try to tell you to do is get a bat that you felt comfortable with, that it didn't feel too heavy. Does that feel too heavy?
That's nice. That's real. It's all sticky. What's all that stuff?
Well, that is
that's not George Brett's pine tar, is it?
No, but that's pine tar, just not up high enough. See, I got it down here about 6 inches.
Don't forget now, Bob, it's legal for them to use that, but if I put a little bit on my fingers, I'm gone.
Isn't that strange? Why is that?
It makes no sense.
Well, okay.
I got no pitchers are cheaters anyway.
Hey,
I think the
I'm not
first
saying
thing
we don't do it.
I get a golf grip.
Is get a firm grip. No,
not a golf grip.
Not a golf grip. You want to get a grip where you put the bat in the fingers of your hand, not it back in your palms.
Oh,
in
yeah?
your fingers. You want to get the bat out in your fingers where you can use your wrists and your whole arm swing like that.
Okay.
So you want to get the bat in your fingers. Be the first thing. Out in your fingers. The second thing is not be afraid of the ball, Bob. You're not afraid of the ball, are you? Surely not. That wouldn't hurt.
Stop that?
Because you can't hit without if you're afraid of the ball. And the last thing is
how do you keep from flinching though when somebody like him, when a guy that really burns in a fastball, that like Jody said, 57, 58 miles an hour, and you know if that Hummer hits you, it's gonna hurt. You've been hit, obviously. Doesn't it hurt a lot?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it hurts, but you know, you have to use your reaction. And Bob, I have to admit, if you get hit most of the time, there's a reason behind that, and if there's a reason
you leave it too far in or something.
Well,
This guy didn't want you to hit the ball.
Yeah,
it's the old bat signal, right?
Yeah. You know, there's certain reasons. Guys have good control. They know where the ball's going, and your reactions are supposed to be the best of any talent. So you can get out of the way. I don't ever worry about getting hit. If I get hit in the head, then we have to have a conference about it.
Well, you wear does this thing help, this hard hat?
Oh, yes. There's no question. I wouldn't go to plate without an ear flap. This man here goes sometimes with that one. He wears the one you have on right now, and I wouldn't go to home plate with it.
Yeah, but look how he acts. I mean,
He's had too many in the head. And I think the last thing, for a serious comment about baseball, you can't hit the ball unless you're watching the ball.
You got to keep your eye on the ball.
You got to pick up where it's coming out of the pitcher's hand, where it's coming out of Rick's hand. If he's a pitcher, I'm trying to watch where it's coming out of his hand. You got to watch the ball the whole time.
Okay, I'll try to do that. Can you throw me one?
Sure.
Okay, which way do we want to go? Out this way? Okay. Remember, Rick, we're friends. Okay.
That's
got
right.
the bat in the hand. I
show,
want to swing golf. Jody, don't get too close. I may hit you with this thing.
You want to take a look at one first?
Yeah, can I just take a look at one? Oh, it's a marshmallow. It's a little too high. Can you put it a little bit lower?
A little bit lower?
A little bit lower. Got nothing to it.
Is that where you want it?
You ready? I'm going to embarrass you, son, on the television.
Well, why's your thumb up, Jody?
Okay. All right, here we go. Look at that. Oh, geez. Almost hit Sutcliffe. Oh, my God.
That's an out. Stay with it.
That's an out? Oh, that's right.
Try that again.
Okay, here we go. Look at that.
Now, the object's to hit it where they're not.
Object is
I was trying to get it back to you.
Well. Object is to hit it in those stands out there.
I don't want to press you too much, but would you do me one favor? Would you give me one of them smoking 57-mile-an-hour fastballs just so I can see what it looks like? You ready, Jody?
What's new?
That's 55
30 is about 60 inches.
Here we go. Where'd it go?
You look good.
I think you lost your microphone.
Did I lose the mic? Oh, all right. Let's not work it out. Time out. Take this stick. I lost. No, there it is. I still got it. Hold it. The mic's busted. Let's, why don't we pay the light bill while we fix it? We'll be right back.
A little bit about hitting. Are you going to learn anything about how to throw the ball?
Well, you know, no offense, but this is where the money is.
We were talking earlier about what we do in the off season, you know, and we like to hunt and fish. I see you have a shooting jacket on. Are you a hunter?
No, you know, I'm really not. I just like the jacket. I found it out in some tacky place in Vegas, and I got the jacket. I used to be, back when I was growing up in Tennessee, and you know, you grow up with a squirrel rifle in your hands about the time you can stand up. But I understand you guys, right after the season, are going out hunting somewhere.
Yeah, we go out to Colorado. We go out trying to kill us a big elk and, you know, have some relaxation and that kind of thing. You know, the same as all people that work, you have to have a little vacation time, but I think it's more important to us to teach you how to throw a ball, too. I mean,
it doesn't seem to be, like I said, I mean, it's 60 feet, what, 66 inches or something like that?
That's all there is to it?
Yeah.
Basically like playing catch.
Like playing catch.
Try to keep the ball between your catcher and your pitcher.
I can't get my hand to this, first of all. I played catch in 1947. You guys remember what a good year that was.
I wasn't even dreaming. My mom was out.
First of all, the mound is this way.
All right, I got to go to the mound.
Now, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Are you against cheating?
Absolutely not.
It's important.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
In every fact of life.
Well, okay, I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
Because I'm sure my wife will be watching.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble myself.
Pine tar is right there. You always grab it when your hands get a little sweaty.
What does that do?
60 feet, that's all.
It gives you a better grip on the ball, like they get on the bat, okay? They're able to grip it, and you're able to grip it. Cold days out here early in the year, you can't grip the ball. When you get a hot day and you're sweating a lot, the pine tar keeps the sweat from getting on the ball.
Okay.
Okay, now there's times you want the sweat on the ball, okay?
Yeah.
And that comes from right up here, okay?
Oh, yeah,
just
like one of these numbers.
Right, when you don't have pine tar and you want the ball to move, you got to do that.
Turn around here so they can see you on the camera.
I know can't really be telling them everything.
Well, I know it. We won't tell anybody. What is a spitball? They're illegal, aren't they?
That's right here.
That's this moisture.
Right here, right. That's all you need.
Okay.
There's just a little bit of that, and your fingers come off like that. And the ball basically comes like a 90-mile-an-hour knuckleball. You don't know what it's going to do.
Is that right? Is that controllable?
When I get real mad at Jody, that's basically what I throw. I tell him I had no idea that the moisture was in it.
All right. Show me how to hold it. Whoa, look out. Don't do that.
That is why we knock people down.
That's part of the game, right.
That is
You're safe. You're behind such
If I don't
there's no
pitch
chance
inside
you
the
can get hit.
people, they're going to hit the ball right back at me, and neither one of us like that.
Is that the most dangerous part of it?
Bob, they need you to come out of the shade, Bob.
You got to be ready to duck or whatever.
You got to be ready and make them duck.
You're in the shade.
How do I hold this? Do I get it around the, whatever?
Any way that feels comfortable.
None of them feel comfortable.
Honestly, none of them feel comfortable. All right.
Hey, how
Watch the target.
Watch the target.
Kick your leg as high as you can. That's important.
Kick the left leg?
There you go.
Look out, Keith.
That's it.
Hey,
Bob, I didn't give you the thumb on that one.
All right, wait a minute. Oh, I can get this one. Look at that. All right. That's enough of
We've come a long ways in a short period of time here.
Is it time for the 7th inning stretch?
It's time for this bunch for you.
Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome,
I appreciate it, man.
Rick,
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Jody?
All right.
Thanks, pal.
Okay, Bob.
Hopefully we didn't mess you up too bad.
Can we tell you a little bit about the game of baseball?
In just a minute. Let's break away just for... Let me get this thing off first, then we'll be right back. I mean, after all, we talked to Harry, and we talked to the guys out shagging the balls. We talked to the guy up in the scoreboard. We saw Arnie in the truck. We talked to Keith Moreland, Jody Davis, and Rick Sutcliffe. We talked to Ben Bentley about boxing and Mike pile about football, and Lord knows I've told you all I know about baseball. I don't know what we'll do next. Maybe neurosurgery or astrophysics or something. We're working on it. Hope you had a good time. Thank you.
Bob Collins Explains Baseball with your host, Robert L., as in lovable Collins, was brought to you in part by the Pepsi-Cola General Bottlers.